Dongarra is one of the leading members of the International Exascale Software Project. So Jack, we talked about it last year. Can you give us an update on the roadmap for software and algorithms on extreme scale systems?
This roadmap is really identifying a system software stack for exascale computing, and it tries to identify critical components and also to identify when those components need to be deployed.
So how can laboratories, universities and vendors work together in order to coordinate HPC software?
Right, so this whole process really brings together that group of people to work together. So each brings with them their own specialty, and by working together we can really build this roadmap. And we do it in a way that has this international input to ensure that we don't have a duplication of effort. We do it so that we avoid any gaps within that software stack, and we do it in a way that allows the funding agencies then to identify areas where they would then channel resources in a coordinated way with other funding agencies at an international level to build out a research program that will take us from where we are now over to exascale in the next 8 to 10 years.
Okay. Thank you so much.
We're here in Hamburg at ISC, and I'm joined by Michael Resch of HLRS. How are you, Michael?
I'm fine. I'm enjoying myself here.
How are you doing so far? Anything that you're surprised by or impressed by at the show so far?
There are two things. So the first thing that was amazing was the number of participants. I didn't expect that we still grow and grow and grow. So this conference is growing. Yeah.
Number of participants way up. What's the second?
The second one was the #1 system in Japan. I didn't expect them to be ready for this conference. I thought, okay, first of all, it's a big challenge. And then with the earthquake and everything, I thought, okay, let's wait until 2012. But they did a very, very great job.
We've been talking about that quite a bit. Very impressive to have the 8 petaflop system out in the short time frame, even considering the natural disasters that they've had. Now, HLRS is always a participant we look forward to at ISC. What's new at your site?
Well, unfortunately, we live in a region where we don't have any disasters, so we have to just do it as the only way. No, just kidding. We are constantly growing our path. We're centered very much focuses on engineering, industrial usage. So usually we don't try to shoot for a #1 system. But we have a constant, sustainable path of growth, and this year will be very exciting.
These industry partnerships are very important in supercomputing right now, and HLRS has taken a leadership role pushing that in Europe. Well, I'm also looking forward to a lot of the show myself, not least of which is that I get to ask you a lot more questions come Thursday in the closing session, where I'll have you under the gun on a timer for Analyst Crossfire. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready. Don't worry. I just have to see how aggressive I'll answer your questions.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to having you on the panel as well. Enjoy the rest of your show.
Thank you. Pleasure will all be mine. Thank you very much.
Rich Brückner is joining me from Inside HPC. Thank you for being here.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
There are a lot of discussions and panels on exascale. Have you heard anything about the hardware issues?
Well, you know, to me, when I go to these discussions, it always starts with power, right? The power curve, we are simply not lined up. If you look at the Fujitsu machine, okay, the new K computer, that's a 10 megawatt machine for about 8 petaflops. You do the multiplier then, this thing, no one could afford the electricity if you multiplied that machine out to exascale, even if it wouldn't work at that, but the power envelope is a huge problem.
Yes. Another thing I've noticed in terms of software, auto-tuning is becoming more and more important. I mean, it's already important, but even more important. Sure. So putting the smarts basically in the software, because the machines are getting more complicated. On a different point of view, did you see some highlights on the show floor?
Well, to me, last year, of course, Intel announced their mic architecture. I forget what they called Knight's Ferry
Yes.
at the time they were calling it. But this year they showed up with it, right? They got prototype cards that they've given to the people like CERN to mess around with and start kicking the tires. They're not products yet, but I saw a device from Colfax that had 8 of these things in there,
Yes.
and they're getting very impressive performance. So that's really exciting,
Right.
because now the GPU landscape just opened up. You have AMD, of course, NVIDIA, and suddenly Intel is showing up with stuff that works and looks very exciting from a programming model point of view.
All right, this is it, everybody. Thank you very much, and see you next year.